when we might find something like draining or prickly in somebody else, it could be because it's a mirror.
If your friend is the problem in her dating situation, what is so bad about that?
I think you've come to this about how to help someone else, but I feel like maybe you need a bit of help to look inwards.
Yeah. Welcome back to the therapy floor. Today we have a juicy dilemma and we're just going to go straight into it.
Let's go.
Yeah. So the dilemma reads, I have a friend who is in her 30s and single. I love her, but I find that being around her is a drain. She constantly complains about being single, yet I feel that her criteria is unrealistic and picky. She puts guys down because they don't drive or earn a certain amount of money. How can I lovingly tell her that she's probably the problem and that I'm tired of going around in circles about this? Short and sweet.
That was very short and sweet. You've got an issue with your friend. And how she's
draining
you, how she's approaching dating. And I wonder if it's not fitting with how you would approach dating. Or maybe if it also does. Like, I'm just wondering, is it also tapping into maybe something you might have done? I don't know, is this person dating or not? Has this person...
Yeah, it doesn't say.
Doesn't say, but I wonder if it is also potentially tapping into something within this person. Only because sometimes I feel like I see a lot that when we might find something like draining or prickly in somebody else, it could be because it's a mirror of some of their behaviours we might be portraying or have portrayed that we don't maybe particularly like in ourselves or that we're comfortable with, our shadow side.
Yeah.
You know, we talk about our shadow side a lot on the therapy floor. But if you've not heard of it, it's this part of yourself, that we all have, the bit that makes you go, oh, I'm not really comfortable that I do that, or there's that side to me, and we want to push it away. We don't want to connect with it.
Yeah.
Which is a little bit what's going on here. You know, there's this side to her that's picky and draining, and for you, that's a problem.
Yeah.
You don't want to connect with the pickiness and the draining, and maybe I think that's symbolic of something. Is she maybe feeling drained? Is she finding dating draining because of the person maybe that she wants to be with? She can't seem to find it.
Yeah.
And that would be draining, wouldn't it? If you're looking for something and it's not happening yet, and you're putting in a lot of effort.
100%. Yeah, of course.
That can feel draining.
Yeah, definitely.
Those were just like my initial thoughts that jumped out at me.
Yeah.
What are your initial thoughts?
I think my initial thought was, you don't necessarily need to be responsible for your friend. And it sounds like maybe you're taking up some level of responsibility in educating her and letting her know that she's the problem and she should fix herself. But also, this situation of going round and round and round in circles, and that just being really tiring for you. So I don't know. I'm thinking, are you thinking that you want help to fix your friend and to sort her out? Or are you wanting help to figure out how you process your feelings about this and how you handle this relationship and this friendship? Because I think the two are different things. You don't necessarily have to feel responsible for how she manages dating. And if you do, maybe there's an element of control that you're struggling with, like she's not doing it the right way, or she's missing eligible bachelors because of her pickiness. That's one thing. But another thing is just how do you handle a relationship where it's losing its fun, like the needs aren't necessarily being met, and it's becoming a dissatisfying relationship that you have with your friend. that's something completely different, I think.
I do feel like that's what she's getting at, because the last sentence, which is, how can I lovingly tell her that she's probably the problem, and that I am tired of going round in circles about this.
Yeah. Yeah.
So is something not working for you in the friendship anymore that used to work for you? That's where I'd be like wanting to have a bit of a dig into.
Yeah. What did this friendship or this relationship look like previously? How was it satisfying, mutually satisfying and beneficial before? And being really clear on how it's not now. Yeah, I think that's probably the approach that I would take.
I'd want to know, what do you love about her? Because you start with, I love her, but I think that's always such an interesting sentence.
I know, right?
Yeah, but. Because then that often is saying to somebody, you're the problem.
It is.
Like, I love you, but.
But you are saying she's the problem. You said she's probably the problem. And if that's the case, if your friend is the problem in her dating situation, what is so bad about that? Like, why does that irk you so much?
Why is that a bad thing? This is reminding me a bit about self-esteem.
Okay.
Because I feel as though, you know, self-esteem, part of self-esteem is being able to have the autonomy and the confidence to solve your problems.
Yeah. Yeah.
Rather than somebody trying to fix your problems for you. You know, I'm thinking about the work we do with kids and how we would also encourage parents to be with kids, which is to not constantly solve your child's problem, give them the headspace to try and figure things out in a safe and contained and loving and supportive environment. And I'm just wondering whether some of those principles could apply here. What you were saying at the start of, is it your responsibility to like, is it a problem for her? Does this problem need solving?
Yeah.
Actually, is being a friend here about just giving her the space to work through it herself?
Yeah. Yeah.
And is that love? Or is that type of love quite new to you? Have you ever been modelled that love?
Yeah. A love that kind of lets you figure things out.
Yeah.
Lovingly lets you figure things out. You're kind of, it's kind of like the role that we take as therapists, isn't it? Like, we're there on the journey with you, but we can't necessarily do the work for you.
No.
We can't change anything for you, but we can sit by whilst you walk that path.
Yeah, absolutely. And if it's becoming a problem for her, then maybe the encouragement is to go to therapy. But if it's not a problem for her, if it's just like, oh, I went on this date and actually, no, I'm not going to go for it because he doesn't drive this car that I want him to drive.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, listen to that.
Yeah.
And actually just say to her, oh, you know, I can see that you really value that type of car.
Yeah,
Or
literally validate and mirror it back to her.
Mirror it back to her.
Yeah.
Because maybe that's not a value that you hold close, and that's why it's draining. Is that where the mismatch is happening? And that happens in friendships too, doesn't it? Where your values can start to change as you go through different stages of your life. And is that irking you? Is it that maybe you're thinking, well, for me, I value, I don't know, like laughter in a relationship. And what you're getting back is, I value, what did she say? Cars and
security.
And security.
Yeah, money.
It's okay for it to be different.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Unless you feel like it isn't. And then I would be thinking about elements of control and acceptance. Can you accept someone for who they are? And if you can't then, then I guess there's like a deeper conversation that needs to be had about this friendship and whether it is aligned, whether it's causing you more discomfort, harm, and if you're inflicting discomfort and harm on the other person or not.
It's interesting because I think you've come to this about how to help someone else, but I feel like maybe you need a bit of help to look inwards.
Yeah.
Rather than forcing her to look inwards.
Yeah. What is going on for you?
Yeah.
And to take it back to how you started, Ritz, what is this triggering in you? And can you be courageous enough to look at it?
Yeah, because that is scary.
Yeah.
It is scary.
Yeah.
And prickly and uncomfortable, like all the things I said. And it takes courage.
Yeah, definitely. Because like you were saying, Ritz, it could be something that you recognise within yourself that you don't like and you're trying to shut it down. Or it could be something that you've denied yourself. Like, have you denied yourself the ability, not the ability, but the privilege to be picky? Have you settled for different things in life? And then it irks you when you see someone who is really convicted in their beliefs and what they want for their life.
I think that's so powerful, what you just said.
Yeah.
Why does being picky have to be a bad thing?
Yeah. Exactly. What are the judgments you're making here? And why do you have those judgments, more importantly?
It's an interesting one because it's also not uncommon for people to think, I have this person's best intentions at heart and I think I know better.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But maybe you don't because you're caught in something. And so are you truly objective here? Possibly not, because your own feelings are coming into this.
But are we ever objective?
Good
Right?
question.
Are we ever objective when it comes to our friends and family?
Yeah.
Are we going to be?
Good question.
I don't think we can be.
No, not with our close friends and
No.
family. No, we can't be.
Yeah.
And even if you're, like, we all come into contact with our own judgments, and even as therapists, that's something that we actively have to try not to be. It's not natural.
No, and I have certainly worked with clients in the past where I have been going through something in my own life, and so my judgments are going to be so much more heightened.
Yeah.
And I've had to then, if I've just started with the client or I'm taking the client on, I know there's been 2 occasions where I've actually had to say, I can't work with you at the moment. I'm not the right person for you because I'm going through something and my own judgments are going to get in the way of it.
Yeah.
Of being that, blank canvas for you to put on me and for me to hold and contain what you're feeling without not getting involved.
Yeah.
And that's what's happened here, hasn't it? Like, you are very involved in it.
You are.
So I think it's about going forward and finding a way to be involved in the friendship in a way that works for you and works for this friend, but not involved in her dating life. Like, you can sit by her, you can listen, just actively listen,
Yeah.
and then try not to do anything with it. And if you do find actually it's just really difficult, I think it's also okay to tell our friends or our family members. I know we talk about this a lot, but I feel like I'm not probably the best person for you to bring this to.
And you know what? That is a kind way of doing that.
Yeah.
Because, personally, I've had a kind of a situation like this with an ex-friend who probably was in that position and should have said, I'm not the best person to bring this to. But instead, her way of doing it was to heap judgment and to kind of say, you're the problem and I can't deal with this anymore. Rather than, I'm having difficulty with this topic. Is it okay if we, do this or do that?
Yeah.
Like, own your side and have compassion for yourself and how this is triggering for you, and also try and extend compassion to the other person and where they're at.
Yeah, because that's capacity then, you see. You're taking responsibility for the capacity that you have to bring to this friendship, and responsibility for the capacity that you don't have. And then it also just takes the onus out of like the dating part. Like, I'm sure there's so many other facets to your friend.
Yes.
Which is why I was like, well, what do you actually love about her?
Exactly. Yeah.
So it doesn't always, maybe this doesn't always have to be the topic of conversation. Maybe it is a big part of her life at the moment. I don't know. And so it feels like it's the big topic of conversation. Because it is true, when life events like dating or marriage or having a baby or moving house, like it often takes up, doesn't it?
It does.
But there are always other conversations to be had.
Definitely. And there are other things to be celebrated about the friendship.
Yeah.
Other than this one part. Because it just only does make up one part.
Yeah, and use your curiosity to connect back with that.
Yeah.
Because I wonder if that's just gotten a bit lost recently.
Oh, this is a good one, wasn't it?
We didn't know where it was going to go.
No, literally, we just thought, let's just go with it and see what's coming up.
So, yeah, if anyone else has ever felt that you think you know better for your friend, I think this is a good one for you.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
I hope you got something from it.
Yeah, definitely. And if you would like to send in a dilemma, please do so at hello@thetherapyfloor.com.
I'm Dr. Ritz.
And I'm Dr. Vicky.
And we'll see you on the floor soon.
Bye.
Bye.